Hello, true believers. Fandoms finest here. I'm Chad.
I'm Nate.
I'm Trace.
I'm Ashton.
And I'm Andrew.
I'm sure you've heard by now that Stan Lee has unfortunately passed away. He was 95 years old. The world really didn't deserve him. I mean, like, his mark on, like, not just comics, but, like, in pop culture in general is gonna outlive us all, really. I mean, when you think about any Marvel character, if he didn't create him or her, he probably had a hand in, you know, making the character who they are.
Yeah.
And
just watching them come to life too on the big screen.
That
like
was really cool.
It's like that had to be a dream come true. For
like
him.
we have to say, probably one of my favorite parts about Marvel movies is that he makes a cameo.
Yeah.
And after Avengers 4, we probably will never see that again.
And it's not just the movies too. A lot of other Marvel properties has him.
Yeah, video
Here it is.
games.
Yes.
Video games, cartoons, TV shows.
All of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't just Marvel movies. I mean, he showed up in he showed up in Kevin Smith's movie Mallrats.
Oh yeah.
He popped up in an episode of Muppet Babies, which is kind of obscure.
Oh,
One of the craziest
Yeah.
things too is that he actually was in a recent DC movie too. I think it was even though it's a crappy TV show, but it was Teen Titans Go, the movie. He was actually in it.
Was he?
Oh, that's right,
I
he
didn't
He
know
was
that.
actually in it.
Yeah.
And then
Wow, I didn't know that.
and the thing is that they actually told him, like, there was a guy who just came out of nowhere, whispered in his ear that it was a DC movie, and then he's like, "Wait, it's a DC movie? Oh, I got to get out of here." And then but he stayed also for another scene, I think, later in the movie, but it's just the sheer fact that Stan Lee was so iconic and he created such a crazy he just created something so big and grand, and it sparked all these other creators and people that, I mean, honestly, I'm not even surprised that he was in it.
Right.
I'm not.
Well, he revolutionized the way comic books were done. He was really the first person that humanized superhumans. You know what I mean? Like, he created Spider-Man and gave him real-world problems. Like, Spider-Man couldn't get the girl. He couldn't, you know, do everything he wanted to do.
Couldn't pay the bills.
No, he couldn't pay the bills, you know.
It's like you could relate to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, there was real-world applications about it.
Yeah. Iron Man was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, all the different characters had their own flaws.
Yeah.
They weren't perfect.
Well, not Cap, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cap...
I don't think he actually created Cap, though.
No, I don't think he created Cap. I don't want to say it was... No, I think that was a different series. I don't know who created Cap, but, you know,
But
there were moments.
But we just we want to give our thanks to Stan Lee as well as Marvel Studios.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
just Marvel in general, dude.
Just for creating such a amazing world for us to use our imaginations. Like, when I was little, I used to pretend I was the Hulk. And, like,
I used to pretend I was Iron Man. Honestly.
I remember the first time I knew of Stan Lee. I was 5 years old, and I put I had Spider-Man for the Nintendo 64, and I put it in, and I played it, and he did a voiceover for like every level.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard that, I was like, whoa, you know, that's cool. I mean, like, he's inspired so many people, like, not even just in comics, just like in entertainment as a whole.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
Excuse me, sorry.
bless you. And I mean, losing him makes the world, in my opinion, a bit darker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss his brightness. Like, every video he was in, everything I ever, you know, everything he graced his appearance in, just made it so much better.
I know, if you would see Stan Lee in something, you'd be like, oh my gosh, Stan Lee, yes.
It's like, even as old as he was during the cameos, there was always that spark of life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Wreck-It Ralph?
No, he was in
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero
Oh,
6.
yeah.
Yeah, he was Fred's dad.
I
Fred's
love
father.
that so much because Fred was one of my favorite characters.
I think my favorite Stan Lee cameo, which I'm probably going to get shit for in the comments, but it was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was The Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Where
he's
he's
in the library.
That's
and
so good.
Spider-Man and the Lizard are fighting in the background, and he's just walking around with the headphones on. Because it was such a funny scene.
Yeah.
It was such a cliche,
so,
wow.
it just worked.
Stan Lee, it worked.
It just worked.
Yeah.
But it's funny you brought up DC. He actually wrote a few books for them.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that, but he actually did.
Actually,
And
I don't think I even knew that.
yeah, it was really, really cool what he did with them because he kind of did his take on the character and kind of like showed what his version would look like. I mean, like, and like this book right here is his memoir. I highly recommend it, and it talks about it in there, and it talks about everything in there.
And
really.
one of the big things also is, aside from the Marvel and DC universe even, he actually created a couple of mangas.
Yeah, he did.
He created
For
a couple
sure,
of mangas. And one of them was, like, it was all superhero based again, but the crazy thing is that he actually created himself to be a superhero in one of the comics. Like, if you look really closely, the character's face was literally Stan Lee.
That's interesting.
Long hair, had the mustache, had the glasses, had all of it. It literally was Stan Lee as a manga character.
I will say that probably my favorite cameo of Stan Lee was definitely in Big Hero 6 because it was a shocker.
Yeah.
You're like,
It was so unexpected.
And the fact that it's Fred's dad, which I stated earlier, Fred is my favorite character, and just the fact that he comes in there and they do the underwear thing, and I'm all like, yes!
I wear them front. I wear them back. I wear them inside out. All that stuff.
It's so great.
Yeah.
And front and back again, and then I wash them. So great. We probably butchered that, but
we so
Who cares? Who cares?
Who cares? It's the thought.
right.
Okay, so that's your favorite, and your favorite was The Amazing Spider-Man 1. What's yours?
Oh gosh, there's so many of them. I'd say, honestly, I'd have to say probably the Thor one where he was in the truck trying to pull the
he's trying to
hammer.
get the hammer out. He's like, did it work?
Did it work? That honestly, I absolutely loved that one.
such a good
It was
one.
that one,
Wasn't
and
there,
Big Hero 6 is my favorite.
Wasn't there, forgive me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there one where he was a pizza delivery guy or something?
I don't think it...
He was delivering something.
He was delivering a package.
He was delivering a package to Tony, in
That's what it was.
Tony
yeah.
Stank.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Is there a
Stank.
Tony
Yeah.
Stank here?
Yeah,
That's what it
I
was.
forgot about that.
All right.
Oh my
What
gosh.
about you, Trace?
I think probably my favorite Stan Lee appearance was probably when we were watching Mallrats because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was going to say that one's mine, but I mean, I consider that more of a minor role. You
I mean,
know?
yeah, it was a minor role, but it's still a cameo
This
nonetheless.
is the thing,
Yeah.
though. This is the thing, though. With Stan Lee, a cameo is a cameo, especially with him,
Yeah.
because just like we've said earlier, with all of the revolutionary things that he did and brought to this world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything that he is in, movie, cartoon, TV
Anything.
show wise, it's a cameo.
Yeah.
And everyone loves it.
It's a cameo.
Like,
One of the saddest things that's going to happen is it's either going to happen in Captain Marvel or Avengers, but I'm calling Avengers.
might be
It
in
would
both.
probably be
It might be in both actually, but
He's that big.
one
They
of the
might
one
call
of the
more
biggest
attention
thing-
to it in Avengers 4.
Yeah, one of the biggest
Because that might
things
be his last
is
one.
going to be the saddest thing is when it's going to say in loving memory of
Yeah.
Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Someone told me that they might CGI him in movies, but you can't do that.
It
wouldn't be
have
the
the
same-
same.
it still
It
wouldn't be
wouldn't
the same.
Like,
It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
I just think
I would much
I
rather.
think it should die with him and just be a legacy with him.
Something
Yeah.
that would be really sad is if they had like an in-universe funeral and then it has
Oh.
all of them walking by and it pans to the picture and it's him.
Oh,
I would
Ugh.
cry.
I'm sorry,
Me
but
too.
everyone in that theater
We
would
would-
cry.
I
we would
couldn't do it.
stand
There
up
wouldn't
and
be
we'd
a
all
single
cry.
dry eye in that place.
No,
No.
there wouldn't be.
And if you do have a dry eye, then you're not a true. You can't.
You're not a true
You can't
believer.
be a
No.
true believer.
No.
You can't.
Um,
So, yeah.
I want to take this time to let you guys know we are planning on doing a Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
Sort
I think
of,
all of us want to do it.
Sort of.
We should all be involved.
We're all going to be involved in that one.
Sort of in
that one.
honor.
In
of
honor of
Yeah.
this legend. I mean,
Yeah.
we're planning on doing that. Oh my god! I mean, just seeing that, like his cameo in that, even is gonna tear me apart.
Yeah.
Oh, and what he says in it too.
Yeah.
Well, we won't say it just
No.
because we might not have played it yet, but
Yeah. You might not have played it or seen it yet, but yeah.
Anyway, my favorite Stan Lee cameo is ironically in my most hated Marvel movie. Well, not my most hated Marvel movie. It's from Spider-Man 3. And he's like, you know, one person can make a difference.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away.
right.
Man, that's my favorite.
That's
like-
just so impactful right there.
Yeah.
He has just a little one-liner, but it holds so much weight.
Yeah.
Here's something I think we should just talk about real quick. Is like, what was the very first piece of Marvel, anything that you either had or played or saw?
Oh gosh.
It's
Oh man.
for me, it would have to be one of the probably mid to late 90s cartoons for the Marvel shows like Spider-Man and Iron Man. Like those were the shows that I would binge as a kid.
Yeah.
And one of my very favorite scenes from the Spider-Man cartoon was they were doing the Spider Wars,
Yeah.
the short saga towards the end, and you learn that one of the Spider-Men that was brought with them wasn't actually Spider-Man; he was an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And when Spider-Man with the Peter Parker we know takes that actor back to his world, he actually gets a shot of him talking to Stan Lee.
Yeah.
And I was just, as a kid, I didn't really know much about Stan Lee.
Right.
So that was kind of my first interaction with him. So I talked to my dad. I'm like, hey, Dad, who's that guy he's with? And he's like, oh, that's Stan Lee, the guy who made Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the 90s cartoons. I was big on the same Spider-Man cartoon and X-Men, especially X-Men.
X-Men, definitely.
That was sort of my introduction into everything. You know, God, those shows were great.
Yeah. They're cult classics.
What about you, bro?
For Trace?
I don't know. I'd probably say like, I mean, I think probably like my first probably major, like any exposure to really anything superhero was probably the Justice League.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
And
and
that's just
also
sort of-
that and also kind of like the like the 90s like Batman and like I think what was it? It was like a newer one. I think Batman Beyond.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was kind of your door to open.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
kind of like when I was like 5 or 6. I started
Right.
seeing those.
What about
yeah.
Marvel, though?
What about for
Yeah.
like Marvel?
Marvel? Gosh, I think like major exposure. I almost want to say was probably. It's actually hard to say because I'm trying to think about it, but probably like in theater when I saw the Hulk from 2008,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
which was pretty good.
that's the thing, and I mean, it very well could be like MCU movies. I'm sure it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like we're all nerds, but like
But for me, even it's the
for
same
you,
for
even
me.
it was probably like
It
what,
was
Iron Man
it
or
was the
something?
very first Iron Man, part of Phase 1
yeah.
of the whole
Yeah.
entire movie saga when they started doing it.
Yeah.
It was Iron Man, and that's why he's one of my favorite characters too, is because, you know, he had all the gadgets and stuff like that. But besides that fact, it was also my first superhero that I ever watched.
Right.
in a
so
movie.
That's a big deal. For
And
you.
as soon as I saw all of that come to pass, and I saw the movie,
You're just
immediately I was hooked. Immediately. And then I went back, you know, was watching the cartoons and stuff like that, and then I would also read some of the comics.
hooked. Yeah,
And
I would like
actually
borrow some
start-
of mine actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually started just getting into it as soon as Iron Man hit the theaters.
Yeah.
Like, I even had a movie teaser poster of Iron Man 1.
Yeah, you
Nice.
did.
Unfortunately,
It was so sweet.
unfortunately though, it got destroyed
Did
in a
it?
flood.
Oh man.
Ooh.
But
That's so sad. It was like a canvas wrap too.
yeah, it was literally
really
like
nice.
it was as if you got it from Tinseltown. Like, it was framed in everything,
Nice.
Yeah.
but I just didn't take care of it, and a flood hit at my house, and
Was that the one
it
from
was
a while
ruined.
back?
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
I'll probably say
What about you? What was your
my
introduction?
my
into, like-
very first superhero exposure I've had. I can't really recall, but I know it's between Spider-Man and X-Men.
Like the shows or like
The shows.
Yeah,
I watched them both, and I loved them both.
they were both great.
The first like live action movie I've seen was the X-Men movies, and I loved the X-Men. I loved Spider-Man, but like I said before, my all-time favorite was the Hulk. I remember like playing that game on the PlayStation 2,
Yeah,
and I would just be wrecking,
yeah, dude.
and I loved it. And the Hulk is probably one of my all-time favorite characters. So
Yeah.
I think we should say that too as our favorite Marvel character. Is is that yours, the Hulk?
Yeah.
When I was younger, growing up, yeah, but I think right now my favorite Marvel character is Deadpool.
Yep. Mark with the mouth.
What about you, Ash?
For me, it would probably be Iron Man,
Iron
but
Man,
then a
yeah.
close second. A really close second would probably have to be Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah, they're both.
I love Doctor Strange. I love his abilities. I love all the things that he can do. How he can manipulate
Yeah.
just the world around him, basically.
Come to bargain.
So I absolutely love Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Iron Man's my number one favorite, though. So,
What about you?
your favorite Marvel character?
Probably just because of like the original Cartoon Network Teen Titans series. I feel like I'd have to go with Robin.
That's DC.
Oh, that's DC.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Oh well, that is a train wreck. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Dude, you have DC on the brain tonight, don't you?
I don't know what the heck's wrong with me.
That's
No,
okay.
let me.
It was probably
Sorry, let me-
like you said, DC's what got you in the door, so that
Right.
might be why you're
So
thinking
that
about
might
it.
be why.
Maybe I don't know, but well, okay. So Marvel. Actually, gotta think about that one. I apologize.
Like, who-
I'm not as
who would-
knowledgeable as
Who would
everyone
you
else on
say
this.
is your favorite Avenger?
Avenger, probably Captain America.
Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Nice.
solid choice. My number one has and always will be Wolverine, but a very, very, very close second is Spider-Man, for sure.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, I love Spider-Man.
Yeah. What about you?
So, for me, mine is kind of a couple odd choices because, like, since Marvel is such an expansive universe, I love like obscure characters.
Yeah.
One of my favorite as of right now will probably be Flash Thompson as Agent Venom.
Oh yeah.
Mostly because it's
that's
like
pretty cool.
it's probably the greatest redemption story ever.
It's such a good story.
Because it's like when Flash Thompson gets introduced, he's a total douchebag.
Oh,
to
he's
Peter.
just a boy.
And
He's
it's like,
just a
you know,
bully, literally.
Peter has that control that he's not gonna lash out at Flash with his powers. And
Right.
then
Lash out at
as time goes on, you lash, flip. As time goes on, he becomes a better person. He sees the errors of his ways, and he befriends Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a real sense of realism from him when he joins the army.
Yeah.
And then he gets injured saving one of his fellow soldiers. And that's kind of like his segue into becoming Agent Venom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something else I love because it's like, it's not just a redemption story for him, it's just a redemption story for the symbiote. Because it's like, we all know symbiote's a separate character.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you get to see it actually act as a hero
Right.
and fight against like its darker impulses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I love the storyline that's kind of going on now where the symbiote's back with Eddie Brock. Unfortunately, Flash is dead.
Yeah.
He served a while as Agent Anti-Venom, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, Agent Venom, probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
I don't think we have much more to say on this subject, but our hearts are for Stan Lee and his family, and
And
just for
everybody at
Marvel.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Everyone at Marvel. And also, honestly, to the fans
Yeah.
of Marvel,
Yeah,
too.
I mean, because
Yeah.
like, this
They're-
is a blow. This
Yeah.
is a blow. Like,
Yeah.
They're fans, young and old.
yeah.
when I heard, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
I cried. I literally cried, and yeah.
Yeah. So, in extreme loving memory of Stan Lee, our prayers and our thoughts go out to all of you, fans, family, co-workers, and colleagues, all alike. Because, like Chad said, this was a pretty big cut.
Yeah.
But we know that he is resting in peace.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's with his wife again.
And he's with his wife again, for sure.
But yeah, I'm Chad.
I'm Nate.
I'm Trace.
I'm Ashton.
And I'm Andrew.
Excelsior.
Excelsior. Yeah.
Excelsior. We'll see you guys.
You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.